Chapter 5, Behavior Reduction. Implementation of interventions. Implementing interventions. Implementing interventions based on the modification of antecedents, such as what's motivating the client or motivating operations, establishing operations, abolishing operations, and discriminative stimuli. Motivating operation. What is an MO or motivating operation? An environmental event that A, alters or increases or decreases the reinforcing effectiveness of some stimulus, object, or event, and B, alters, meaning increases or decreases, the current frequency of all behavior that have been reinforced by that stimulus, object, or event. There's an unconditioned motivative operation, or UMO, which is a motivating operation whose value-altering effect does not depend on a learning history. There's also conditioned motivating operations, or CMOs, which is a motivating operation whose value-altering effect depends on a learning history. Unconditioned motivating operations. There are 9 main unconditioned motivating operations for humans. Reinforcer establishing or evocative effects, such as deprivation of food, water, oxygen, activity, and sleep. Or reinforcer abolishing ablative effects, food and water ingestion, oxygen intake, engaging in activity, and sleeping. Unconditioned motivating operations. Relevance to sexual reinforcement, temperature changes, and painful stimulation. Conditioned motivating operations. There are conditioned motivating operations for humans. Surrogate, reflexive, and transitive CMOs. Surrogate conditioned motivating operation. Surrogate CMOs, or CMOS, which are a stimulus that acquires its motivative effectiveness by being paired with another MO and has the same value-altering and behavior-altering effects as the MO with which it was paired. For example, if you pair TV with food deprivation, every time you watch TV, you want a snack. Reflexive conditioned motivating operations. Reflective CMOs, or CMOR, a stimulus that acquired MO effectiveness by preceding some form of worsening or improvement. It is exemplified by the warning stimulus in a typical escape avoidance procedure, which establishes its own offset as reinforcement and evokes all behavior that has accomplished that offset. When instruction has been repeatedly too hard, any events that signal the beginning of instruction or the instructor will serve as a CMOR. Transitive conditioning motivations or operations. Transitive CMOs are an environmental variable that, as a result of learning history, establishes or abolishes the reinforcing effectiveness of another stimulus and evokes or abates the behavior that has been reinforced by that other stimulus. You need to get this to get that. Someone hands you a bottle of wine, and now corkscrews are valuable, not because you love corkscrews, but because you need to consume wine. Establishing operation. An establishing operation, or EO, is a motivative operation that establishes or increases the effectiveness of some stimulus, object, or event as a reinforcer. For example, food deprivation establishes food as an effective reinforcer. Abolishing operation, or AO, a motivating operation that decreases the reinforcing effectiveness of a stimulus, object, or event. For example, the reinforcing effectiveness of food is abolished as a result of food ingestion. Discriminative stimulus, or SD. A stimulus in the presence of which responses of some type have been reinforced, and in the absence of which the same type of responses have occurred and not been reinforced. This history of differential reinforcement is the ready and SD increases the momentary frequency of the behavior. Function and proactive strategies for automatic reinforcement. Intrinsically motivated responding suggests automatic or sensory reinforcement. This is due to lack of structure or boredom. What we can do is increase structure and teach independence. Lack of play and leisure skills. We can also increase and teach play skills and increase recreation and leisure skills. And blocking out sensory input. Gradual exposure to sensory input. Desensitization. Function and proactive strategies for automatic reinforcement continued. Limited behavior repertoires. Teach alternative and replacement behavior. Disguise, normalize the behavior. Functional equivalence. Other strategies, interruption and direction. Function and proactive strategies for escape. Demand situations suggest escape or avoidance as a reinforcer. The task may be too difficult or easy. We might change the SD or activity label. Increase the salience of the reinforcer before working. Simplify tasks. Use different language to prompt and reinforce. Increase complexity. Make tasks more errorless. Change the presentation of materials. Eliminate or reduce task demands and shaping. Teach students to ask for a break or for help. Some more proactive strategies for escape. If the task is not reinforcing, we would increase reinforcement schedule, change the topography of the task, use behavioral momentum, increase choice. Fear of the situation, we might use graded exposure to feared stimuli, desensitization, or relaxation. Function and proactive strategies for attention. Low or diverted attention suggests attention as a reinforcer. There might be insufficient competing reinforcement, which means we would need to build better rapport with the student and perhaps enrich the environment or increase reinforcement. Maybe there's not enough social attention. We would spend more fun or reinforcement time with the student, increase attention, and catch the child being good. Some more function and proactive strategies for attention. Lack of appropriate responses. We would help the student build friendships and teach play skills, teach functional equivalence to their behavior, enrich the schedule of activities, and maximize independence and success.